Hey, what's up? I'm here with Alex from Whitechapel.
Hi.
How's it going, man? Thanks for
Good.
coming in.
Yep.
I guess this is kind of a mandatory stupid question, but welcome back to Canada.
Yeah.
Do you guys like Canada? You guys have a good time when you're
Yeah,
up
it's great. We've been up here a couple of times. We did a full Canadian tour of Summer Slaughter Canada in like 2008, and we've been up here with Warped Tour and stuff like that, along with various other tours. So we've definitely had our fair share of Canadian shows.
Cool. Let's talk about Warped Tour, actually. What was that like for you guys? Because you guys were, I guess, the odd man out in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Warped Tour always, they'll get their hip-hop groups on there, they'll get their metal bands on there.
Yeah.
How did that go for you guys?
It was great. I mean, as a whole, it was definitely very receptive. It's definitely a younger crowd, but I feel like our demographic definitely goes towards a younger crowd. Usually between the 16 to 25 age range. Something like that. So it's definitely it was a really great tour for us.
I thought it was cool too because you guys do have the social political side going on to the band too, which Warped Tour, being a punk rock sort of festival, I sort of thought kind of lost that a bit. So I thought it was pretty sweet to have you guys on there. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, a new era of corruption. Like right there, that's a pretty political title.
Yeah, kind of a bold statement, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely, the whole lyrical aspect and like the theme of the band and stuff is kind of taken over by our singer Phil. He writes all the lyrics. Nobody else in the band writes the lyrics or anything like that. So, it was just we just wanted to do something like our past two CDs, The Smack Defilement and This Is Exile, both kind of had like a theme to it. And this new CD, A New Era of Corruption, like we didn't really want it to have to like tell a story or like to like to have any kind of like like any kind of theme or anything like that. It's just kind of like we just like each song kind of deals with its own personal thing. And I guess it's kind of like just kind of deals with like the corruption of like mankind and like the downfall of the world and stuff like that. So,
are you guys like plugged in? You know what I mean? Do you guys follow the news? Because I was listening to this record today, and I'm reading the paper at the same time, and there's stuff about religion in there. There's stuff about like I guess revolting or overthrowing.
Yeah.
And in these times, I just thought it was interesting subject matter. Are you guys plugged in that way? I mean, do you follow?
A little bit here and there. I mean, a lot of us, honestly, aren't really too, I guess like political per se. We're not like
activists. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Not like activists or anything like that. But all of us are definitely knowledgeable of like what's going on in the world and stuff like that. And the current like I guess kind of tailspin.
Yeah.
The world is in, and hopefully we'll be able to pull ourselves back up out of it. But
does that come with like when you're touring around and you go to all these different places and I guess you get to see the common person right at the show all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Do you see that side of the world, I guess?
Yeah. Every now and then you'll definitely see. I hate to make this whole interview like sound so negative, but I mean, it's like I don't know. You definitely see different sides of people on tour. Not even just like people that you meet, but it's the people in your own band. You see different sides. You see their happy side, you see their negative side, you see them really mad, you see them really sad. So definitely traveling around the world and being around people for so long, you definitely see their emotions.
The first single, I guess, for lack of a better term, but I mean, you guys did a video for Breeding Violence. Anything you can tell us about that song, or why you decided to do a video for that one? I mean, it's a pretty straightforward video. It's
exactly. It's we shot it in Nashville, Tennessee, which is like 3 hours from our hometown. We basically call it like our second hometown. And we just decided we were like, let's just keep it light and fun. We'll just do a music video shoot. We just loaded in and sat up, and about 700 kids showed up, and we played the song like 3 times in a row just to make sure we had all the shots and stuff, and then we played like a special set for the crowd, just to give them a little something extra, just so they didn't just hear the same song 3 times in a row and that was it, So it was definitely fun. It's one of my favorite songs off the new record personally. It's bouncy, it's heavy, it's just cool to listen to. So.
My favorite being Reprogrammed to Hate. Tell me a little bit of that song, because I'm a big Deftones guy, and obviously Chino's at the end of that song.
Yeah.
Which works pretty well because he's got sort of that Velociraptor thing going on, and then you have the death metal growl going on. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that song and what it was like. Like did he come into the studio with you guys, or was it like a mail back and forth type thing?
Yeah, it was a mail back and forth kind of thing.
Crap, I was hoping
yeah,
it was the studio
trust me, same here. But we did the song, and there's a section in the song that kind of has like a real Deftones vibe to it, and it was like actually a riff that I had wrote. I'm a huge Deftones fan as well.
Nice.
And I was just like, man, I was like, it'd be really, and like our manager used to manage Chino's side project, Team Sleep. He's from Sacramento.
No way.
Yeah,
cool.
he's from Sacramento, which is where all the Deftones dudes are from and stuff too. So he's known all of them for a while. And knowing that he knew them, I was just like, man, this part has like a real Deftones vibe. It'd be so cool if we could have Chino as like guest vocals on it. So I hit up our manager, and I was just like joking around. I was like, hey, you should try to get Chino to do guest vocals on our CD. He goes, okay. I was like, wait, seriously? And he's like, I'll ask him. He's like, it doesn't hurt to ask. I was like, all right. So he asked him, and like we sent him the clip of the part we wanted him to do, and he was just like, yeah. He's like, it's sick. He's like, I'll do it. So we mailed it out to him, and he recorded it with one of his friends out in California, and then sent it back. So
that's pretty solid.
Yeah, we did actually get the opportunity to meet him though at we went to the Revolver Golden Gods.
Yeah,
it's like basically like the metal Grammys.
Of course, yeah.
So we were out there, and we were just kind of like in the backstage area, and it was kind of surreal, like watching like all these like huge stars walk by, like Dave Grohl and like Rob Zombie and Jonathan Davis from Korn and stuff. They're all just like walking around within like 5 feet of me. I was like kind of overwhelmed and stuff. And Chino was there hanging out, and our manager was there, and he was just talking to him, and he like introduced us over and like introduced us to him. He's the coolest guy ever. He's real nice, and apparently his kids are actually fans of us. So
cool.
His kids actually listen to Whitechapel. So he asked us if we could like send them some merch and stuff. So we did. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Golden Gods. You mentioned that whole experience, and what were you guys nominated for?
We weren't nominated. We were actually presenting an award.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it was the Comeback of the Year award is between like Alice in Chains and
oh, sweet.
I forget who it was, but Alice in Chains ended up winning. Yeah, so.
You have to.
Yeah, of course.
That's a hard thing to come back from.
Yeah, totally.
Switching a vocalist.
Yeah, exactly. And then getting a vocalist that sounds almost exactly like your old one.
Yeah,
is definitely amazing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's a good record too.
Yeah.
When you're in that situation, though, you mentioned, it's kind of surreal. You see Dave Grohl and stuff walking around. I had to ask you guys, you guys played with Cannibal Corpse, right? Is this correct?
Yeah.
Was that a big deal for you guys?
Yeah, it definitely was, because, I mean, obviously, us being, like, kind of like a young, up-and-coming death metal band, it's pretty obvious that, especially with, like, low tuning and stuff, like, it's pretty obvious that Cannibal Corpse is, an influence on our sound. So, we got to tour with them on Mayhem in 2009. And that was just really cool, because they closed our stage every day, and they were just so incredibly heavy, and it was just really cool. And they were all really super nice dudes too. Like we were hanging out on their bus, and they were coming up on ours and stuff. Like it was just it was definitely a crazy thing.
That band still scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Like if I had to do an interview with that man, I would be afraid. Like getting on the tour bus or whatever, I'd be scared. But I heard that. I mean, they were in Ace Ventura, so
yeah,
really.
For sure. Yeah. That's how Phil actually got into death metal. Is he saw Ace Ventura and the part. the part in where Cannibal Corpse plays. He was just like, man, this band's awesome. He's like, what is this? It's so heavy. And,
wow.
Like he used to listen to stuff like Slipknot and stuff like that. And then like he heard that, it was just like so much heavier and so much darker, and he was just like, wow, that's really cool. So he figured out who they were, and he just kind of started from there. So
crazy album covers too, Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
Always good times flicking through that section.
Names butchered at birth, and
stuff we
like
can't
that,
say actually on the radio. Your album cover, though, actually was something I wanted to ask about on this one. Is it an old school sort of military, or is it a? Who did that?
It was
because it's cool.
Yeah, the name slips me. I
Google it. Google it, people.
Google it. I can't remember off the top of my head. I feel bad for not being able to remember it. But basically, we gave the guy. We sent him lyrics and song titles and stuff like that, and he actually took pieces of like the songs and like incorporated it into the artwork. Like the last song called "Single File to Dehumanization." It's basically about like kind of like the people of Earth like in a basically like in a line, and they're being filed into a factory to become like half man, half machine type thing and stuff like that. So like the front cover shows like these human beings being like strung up by kind of like factory I don't know, kind of like factory machines and stuff like that, and like it shows them like their body parts being replaced with like more mechanical parts, and like guns and all kinds of crazy stuff. So
who comes up with this stuff in the band?
I don't know. Like I said, Phil comes up with like all the lyrics and stuff like that, and I don't know, I've always felt like we've definitely kind of taken like kind of like a futuristic type approach with like our lyrics and stuff like that. At least on the past 2 albums, this is Exile and A New Era of Corruption. So,
as a guitar player, is it daunting playing this type of music? Do you know what I mean? Is it difficult for you? Do you have moments where you're like, I totally forget how to play that part? Or
no, not really. I mean, like I would say that our music is a little more musically complex than some other bands that are in our genre. But at the same time, we're not exactly like Steve Vai, like shredding all over the place and stuff like that. Ben definitely has like some kind of complicated leads and stuff here and there. But our music's, usually straightforward and to the point. We try to put a lot of focus on, like just the groove and like catchiness and stuff like that. So our fans can, kind of connect with the music.
Now, I've read, online, you guys are sort of becoming a staple in the American death metal. Mm-hmm. And as opposed to, I guess, Europeans, so Sweden and those crazy people over there.
Yeah.
Is there like a rivalry or whatever?
Or? Not really. Usually, whenever we go over to Europe, it's we're received over there, really well. They definitely enjoy their metal just as much as Americans do, if not more so. Germans, they're very serious about their metal, and they like it very heavy and I don't know, very serious. They don't take joke bands like Attack and bands like that. They don't take those bands very seriously, So I don't know. They just like their metal very brutal and stuff like that. So
are you guys cool being that the American version of what I mean? Because people are definitely. You guys are getting tagged as, sort of the next bearers of that torch.
Yeah, definitely. And, definitely, we gratefully received that torch, I guess, to carry it on. If you would have told me that, my band would be at the position it's in 5 years ago when we started, I would, tell you to get the hell out. Like, I wouldn't believe that at all, so...
Are you guys all right with that hype? Because, it happened fast for you
guys. Yeah, definitely. Our lives definitely changed, very fast. But I think it's something that we all kind of adjusted to. And, we all come from Knoxville, Tennessee. We're just a bunch of laid-back Southern boys. So, it's not, I don't know, none of us really, like, went crazy or anything like that. Nobody got a big head and like went into their rock star downward spiral and started doing a bunch of drugs and stuff. So yeah, we all have very level heads and stuff when it comes to that. So
cool. Last 2 questions. Whenever you're over in Europe, do you guys have any crazy black metal stories or encounters with real deal black metal bands?
There was one time where we played a show that there was like another show across the street, and it was actually like a black metal festival or something like that. Yeah, it was nuts. And I didn't go over there, but a couple of the other guys went over there because apparently like you could get in free if you just like showed your laminate or whatever. And they said they went in there and they said it was just like no one under the age of 40. It was like 40 and older dudes, like just wearing like just like
t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly, like Gorgoroth and Burzum. Emperor and Burzum and stuff like that. Just like chainmail and like just like studded arm bracelets.
Chainmail.
And like black leather jackets and stuff like that. So they said it was definitely a kick.
Intense.
So, yeah.
Are you a fan of Metalocalypse, the show?
I am. I love Metalocalypse.
Okay, cool. Favorite character?
I kind of like Toki just because of his.
Man.
He just has a funny accent.
Totally,
so,
he says everything in plural,
yeah.
which is in plurals.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I love Toki as well.
Yeah.
He's also very innocent.
Yeah,
and the moral code of the show.
Yeah.
On that tip, though, craziest sort of metal death clock type story. Like, have you guys ever played inside a volcano, or have you guys ever played on top of like a mountain or like a burning helicopter? Most metal ever experience.
I mean,
show.
there's nothing really too metal that we have, but we've played inside of a boat.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, that's random.
That's pretty
it's
random and
enough.
cool.
We've played inside of 2 boats, actually.
Okay.
One was in Hungary and one was in Paris.
On top of the boat or
inside the boat? Yeah, it's like they were both like old, rundown boats that didn't work anymore, so they just docked them and then just like gutted the inside and just turned them into a venue.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So yeah, I don't know, it was really random. Like it didn't really. I guess they had them like anchored down because they didn't really like rock or anything like that. So
well, there's that metal cruise. Did you hear about that crazy?
Yeah.
Metal cruise?
I heard
so I
about
guess
that,
maybe
actually.
boats
It's
and
pretty
metal
cool.
could be a thing. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, dude, thanks for your time.
Yeah,
man.
no
Nice
problem.
meeting you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Yep.
Explore Music wears English Laundry apparel.